Hello children, I welcome you back to English Winglish with Kashish. Yes, are we all ready for our next chapter? This is chapter number 5 from your first language English. I hope you have studied all the other chapters that we did together and you are thorough with it. I am going to check all the points myself. Yes. So this chapter is called What is Moral Action? Now with the name, what do we understand? What is moral action? Moral action is something which reflects your behavior, how you are in front of everyone or how you are to yourself. Do you plan and do everything, or do you do it with intention, or you do it just for compulsion? So this is what is moral action. There are some things that you are forced to do, right? And some things which you like to do. So what is good, what is bad, the balance of that. Let's see some great personalities who have also done their acts as Gandhiji's teachings. Okay? Lord Buddha, you must have seen him everywhere. His face itself shows peace. So Lord Buddha, he gave up all his worldly pleasures because he was moved by the suffering of the people around him. He could not see anyone suffering or treated bad. So he left everything, you know. So this is Lord Buddha for you. Lord Jesus Christ, yes. He preached truth, non-violence and sacrifice. For him, speaking truth was the most important. Even if you are hurt at that point, but you should speak truth. And he sacrificed everything for his loved ones, for his village. Do you remember the story? Yes, so even Jesus Christ comes under that. Mother Teresa, we all know her, right? She left her home and native country and settled in India in order to serve the poor and the suffering. She left everything, all worldly pleasures, all the money that she had, and she came down and helped people who suffered. She got immense happiness by helping them. She used to say that, yes, I lived my day happily. I succeeded in living happily, but just by helping these poor people. Nelson Mandela. He adopted Gandhian principles of satyagraha and non-violence and fought for the independence of his country. By non-violence, by choosing to be non-violent, you can achieve a lot. It is not only important for you to fight and win the battle. Sometimes even non-violence and satyagraha can help you win it. So that's what Nelson Mandela did, and he did great. And our very own Gandhiji. So what is moral action is written by him. It is about his principles, and I'm sure after reading the chapter, all of us will know what is moral, what is not moral. Okay? So Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, as we all know, was born on 2nd October. You remember we have a holiday of Gandhi Jayanti in 1869 in the princely state of Porbandar, which is in Gujarat, now a part of Gujarat. He was the mightiest force in the Indian political scene for nearly half a century. He contributed a lot in our political culture then. His method of non-violence and truth won freedom for India. Yes, and lot of people around the world have taken up his policy of non-violence, which is a great achievement for us and a 5-star to us. So let's start the chapter. Okay, so this chapter is all about how you behave, as I told you earlier. So I will give you a lot of examples so you can relate to that. Okay, when can it be said that a particular action is moral? In asking this question, the intention is not to contrast moral with immoral actions, but to consider many of our everyday actions against which nothing can be said from the conventional standpoint and which some regard as moral. Now what is a conventional thing? Conventional means customary, adhering to tradition, not unusual, adhering to tradition and not unusual. Sometimes we do things which are going on in our family and as a tradition we have to do it and carry on, right? That's a conventional method that has been going on with our parents and grandparents. We have to do it, but we have to decide whether that action that we are doing is moral, is correct or not correct. Okay, now I will tell you something. When you go to school in the morning, your teacher comes and you greet your teacher, right? So you say, good morning, teacher. Now, do you do it just for compulsion, just because everyone's doing, just because it is conventional, or do you do it with heart? If you do it with heart, it means it's a moral action, but you do it just because everyone's doing and I have to do it, it becomes a conventional form. All right, so that is what it is. A particular action is moral or not moral. Now, if you can see this, okay, now this little boy found a bird here. Now he thinks she needs care. He takes her home, he feeds her, but he sees that other birds, his family is calling him, right? So what does he do? He makes her free. Now at this point, he was right. He was doing the correct thing. He took care of her. He gave her food, he fed her, but at that other point, he found that he has to let her free. So your action can keep changing by the situation also, all right? Most of our actions are probably non-moral. They do not necessarily involve morality. For the most part, we act according to the prevailing conventions. Such conventional behavior is often necessary. Sometimes what we do is because of conventional behavior. That means it's been going on as a tradition. We do not do it because we feel like doing it. Okay? So sometimes our actions can also become non-moral. Okay? If no such rules are observed, anarchy, which means the absence of governmental authority, would be the result, and society, social intercourse would come to an end. Now, if no such rules are observed, that means, now imagine if there is a wedding going on next to your house and they are making a lot of noise. Now you have to go and scream at them, or you should be quiet. What do you choose? Now you think that there is a function going on, you should for some time leave them and you be quiet, right? So there are rules. If no one follows rules, everyone is going to fight with each other. There's going to be a lot of fights. So sometimes your actions can also be according to the situation. Okay? Still, the mere observance of custom and usage cannot properly be called morality. So sometimes you have to go off your moral rules. Okay, and you should help everyone. A moral act must be our own act. Someone should not tell you that go and feed the poor and then you go and feed the poor. No, it should come from your own heart that yes, I like doing it and it gives me happiness. It must spring from our own will, our own choice. It should bloom from our own choice. It should not be like a compulsion from someone. If we act mechanically, there is no moral content in our act. If every day, like a mechanic, like a robot, if we go and do something, that's not moral act. There is no will, there is no heart, there is no purpose to it, right? So if we are acting mechanically, that doesn't become moral. But such action would be moral if we think it proper to act like a machine and do so. If we act like a machine and do that every day, it is not moral. That's what we learn from this second paragraph. Okay? For in doing so, we use our discrimination. We should bear in mind the distinction between acting mechanically and acting intentionally. Now, if your friend tells you that every day I go and feed the pigeons, you say, okay, he also tells me he is going to feed the pigeons, I will also do that. So you buy some pigeon food, every day you go and put pigeon food, but you are doing that mechanically. You still not got the heart to do it, not your will to do it, but you just do it. So how long will you do it? For some days. But that boy is doing it every day because he likes to do it. It's his will, it's his heart. He's intentionally not doing it, okay? So we have to understand the difference between doing something mechanically and doing something intentionally. Now between the two friends, one friend is doing mechanically just because his friend is doing, the other one is doing intentionally because he likes doing it. Okay, so sometimes people become fools and do whatever they have been asked to do. They don't even put their mind to it or think about it that why did they do it. It may be moral of a king to pardon a culprit. Okay, a king might pardon a culprit because he is actually trying to understand whether he actually did a mistake or not. But the messenger bearing the order of pardon plays only a mechanical part in the king's moral act. Now what did the messenger do? He went to the village, that boy told him he did this mistake, he comes to the king and he just reads this point by point by point. He doesn't put his mind to it or his brain to it that what actually could have happened in that scene before or after. So he just tells the king what people told him, right? But if the messenger were to bear the king's order, considering to be his actual duty, his action would be a moral one. Now, if he tried to find out actually what was the reason that the fight happened or the lies behind it, that would be the moral act of the messenger. How can a man understand morality who does not use his own intelligence and a power of thought, but lets himself be swept along like a log of wood by a current? Now what's a current? A current is a fast moving stream of water. Have you seen a piece of log? If the piece of log falls in that current, it goes wherever the current takes it. It does not stop, it just flows with it. Now imagine a group of people, they are going somewhere. What do? You also join them and go walk wherever they're going to walk, right? But no, you should not do that. You should not do what everyone is just blindly doing. You should put your own thought and imagination and ideas and do what is right according to you, what is moral according to you. Don't do what everyone else is doing and just follow the path. Alright, this is what Gandhiji taught. You remember? Sometimes a man defies convention and acts on his own with a view of doing absolute good. Sometimes a man takes a different path of doing good. Okay, not conventional, not intentional, but he takes his path of doing good because he thinks that is what the correct path is. Such a great hero was Wendell Phillips. So Wendell Phillips also followed Gandhiji's principles and that's what he did. Sometimes a man defies convention. Sometimes what others have told, like I will give you an example of dowry. Remember in our olden times, or for that matter child marriage, everyone used to get their baby girls get married in a very, very young age. Now is that correct? No. So you have to go beyond conventional methods, beyond old traditions if you think it is wrong. Bribery, dowry, child marriage, all these were conventional things. Now they're all going off. So sometimes even conventional methods are wrong. Addressing an assembly of people, he once said, "Till you learn to form your own opinions and express them, I do not care much what you think of me." So he said, I don't care about that person what he said about me because I don't even know him. Till you learn to form your own opinions and express them. You should not hear that person and tell about this person. You should form your own opinions and don't listen to everyone whoever says bad things about you. Like bullying, right? In the class, if someone tells you, you don't know how to do this, you are not good at that, you should not hear all that. Form your own opinions. Till you don't form your opinions, don't listen to them, right? I do not care how much or what you think of me. You form your own opinions. Thus, when we all care only for what our conscious is your inner soul. You know, sometimes something will tell you this is right, this is wrong. Listen to that, okay? Your body, your soul will always communicate to you what action should be taken. Then alone can we be regarded to have stepped on to the moral road. Listen to your conscience and follow the path. You will know that you are in the correct path or the moral road. What is right or what is wrong, you will be able to judge. We shall not reach this stage as long as we do not believe and experience the belief. What is the belief that he is talking about? That God within us, the God of all, is the ever-present witness to all our acts. God is watching, right or wrong. Whatever you do, there is always the upper God who's watching us. So always think about what you're doing. If you try to hurt someone intentionally, he is watching. So in your heart, ask yourself twice whether what you're doing is correct or wrong, and then go ahead and do it. God is with you in your good times and bad times. So hold his hand and move on. It is not enough that an act done by us is in itself good. It should have been done with the intention to do good. It's not like if you did something, you did it just for good. The intention, the reason behind it should be good. Okay? That is to say, whether an act is moral or otherwise depends upon the intention of the doer. Now see this boy. He is giving money to the beggar. Okay? And this is a good part. This is a good intention, right? But his mind and his thoughts, what are they doing? He wants to put it on Facebook or Instagram that, see, I am doing good. So is it good? No, this is half. So your intention to do good, I'll read the statement again. It is not enough that an act done by us is in itself good. It should have been done with the intention to do good. Now he thought that he is doing a good thing by helping this poor boy, but the intention is not good. The result what he wants is not good. Okay? Two men may have done exactly the same thing, but the act of one may be moral and that of the other the contrary. I'll give you one more example. You are two friends. Okay, now you want to do something good. You go to a village and you help everyone. One of you have taken lot of food and distributed. We're going through a very tough phase of COVID, right? So what you did, you made ration kit and you gave to all the houses and you were very happy. Everyone was very happy. You were protected. You wore your PP suit, you wore your gloves, you wore your mask, everything, and you gave everyone. How do you feel? You feel great, right? But there is your friend, okay? What does he do? He goes and he gives money to everyone. But while he was giving money, he was taking a lot of pictures. And the next day, his pictures were all over the internet. So, do you feel good about it or do you feel bad about it? You did not click pictures. You did not want to show the world. But you did good. You made yourself happy. You made God happy. But what he did, he made the world happy or not even happy. He wanted everyone to know that he did something great. So these are two different things. Okay. Take for instance, a man out of great pity feeds the poor, and another who does the same but with the motive of winning prestige or with some selfish end. He said if he will give him money, that poor guy will wash his car. So that is with a bad intention. Though the action is the same, the act of the one is moral and that of the other is non-moral. There should not be a return. When you do something good to someone, you should not expect anything in return. It should be done with no selfish interest. Only then it is a moral act. The reader here ought to remember the distinction between the two words. Very, very important. Non-moral and immoral. It may be so that we do not always see good results flowing into a moral act. Now these are two words, they sound same, immoral and non-moral. What is the difference? Immoral means something that you know This is right and this is wrong. But still, what do you choose to do? You do choose to do the wrong. That is immoral. Now, you know one day before the exam that you have not studied at all. You choose to cheat. You know that is wrong, right? But still, you say, okay, I will cheat and pass, which is immoral action. What is non-moral action? You are doing something good, but the intention is not good. Right, like that boy who was feeding the poor, but his intention was prestige. I will take a picture and I will put it on. He wanted prestige, he wanted his name to be shown everywhere. So the intention was not good. You can remember doing good and the intention good. So this is good square. Both the places you get good. So that is a good moral act. Now in this statement, it may be that we do not always see good results flowing from a moral act. Sometimes when you do good, you might not get a positive answer. You might not get a positive solution out of it. You should not worry about that. You should only do good deeds. You should not worry about the fruit. Like this. While thinking of morality, all that we need to see is that the act is good. What you are doing is good. Always with no selfish interest. And is done with good intention. Your mind, your will, your heart should be good. You should know that this will not harm the other person. The result of an action is not within our control. We don't know what will happen. Sometimes the result is not good also. You went to help the poor. I'll give you an example which happened to me, okay? I was in a restaurant and I was eating food. Now, this old lady comes and she was telling me to give something. I said, okay, it is better to give her food because she looks hungry. So I told that uncle, you can make a portion of rice and give it to her. She said, no, I don't want rice, I want only money. Now, I don't know what she does with the money. She might go and buy something bad. So my intention was good, but I did not get a good result. Right? So it is not in your hands to get a good result. But always remember, from your side, always do good and don't cheat. God alone is the giver of fruit. God decides what has to be given to whom. He is the decider. He is the ultimate decider of what is good, what is bad. You, from your side, do what your heart and will says. Now with this, we have finished the part 1 and we will do the question answers now. So, come on, let's get started. Now, answer the following questions. Question number 1. In paragraph 1, Gandhiji says that our conventional behavior is. What is the conventional behavior, the old style behavior? Is it immoral? Is it moral? Is it neither moral nor immoral? Is it necessary or is it unnecessary? So the correct option, it is neither immoral or moral. It is just a methodology followed by our ancestors. Okay? Question number 2. What is non-moral action? What is an action which is non-moral? Action which does not necessarily involve mortality, but is born of prevailing conventions. There is no moral concept towards it, but it is what our grandfathers have been doing it. It is an old tradition which is conventional, okay? That is called non-moral action. Next, question number 3. What is the difference between a mechanical act and an intentional act? As I told you before, if the action is done mechanically and does not spring from our own will, this is what someone has made the rules and written it and we are blindly following it. Okay? There is no moral content, there is no thinking towards it in the act. It is a mechanical act. Like a robot, you feed in whatever he needs to do, or a computer. What you do, they will do. They will not put their mind to it, right? One small mistake from your side and the whole thing goes wrong. Such action would be moral if we think it is proper to act like a machine and do so, since in doing so we use our discrimination. Discrimination means difference. We know how to balance, what is right, what is wrong. So intentionally means we have thought about it, what is good, what is bad, what is wrong, what is right, and we are doing it. That is intentional, okay, and not to act like a machine. Give an example for conventional behavior and a moral act. Like greeting everyone, as I told you, in the morning is conventional behavior. It has been going on from a long time. It becomes a moral act when it is done with the intention of brightening up the lives of those people. Now, your mama, your papa, or your teacher, or your siblings, when you get up and tell them good morning, they feel happy, right? So this is about brightening up the day. But if you go and say good morning and you go, not nice. Sounds conventional, correct? So there is a difference. This is the same act done conventionally and intentionally. Question number 5. The first paragraph discusses what is not a moral action. The second paragraph gives us an important criteria to decide what constitutes a moral action. What is that criteria? A moral act must spring from our own will, from the use of our discrimination. This is the criterion. That means in the second paragraph, author says that it is your own will, from your own heart, that you decide what is moral act and what is not. When can the messenger's act become a moral action? This is question number 6. When can the messenger's act become moral action? When the messenger, instead of mechanically delivering the order, does it because it is his duty to do so, it becomes a moral action. A messenger, a king's messenger, when he thinks that it is not his duty but his intention. Yes, it is his duty, but he should do it. It is his duty too, but he doesn't mechanically deliver it. He puts his own discrimination into it. Okay? Question number 7. When, according to Gandhi, can we regard ourselves to have stepped on the moral road? When do you think you are correctly on the moral road? When we all care only for what our conscience says, then alone can we be regarded to have stepped onto the moral road. Our conscience, our soul tells us, and then we do accordingly, not our brain or mind getting wicked. Okay? Question number 8. What is the belief that Gandhi talks of in paragraph 2? What belief is Gandhiji talking about in paragraph 2? You can go through the paragraph 2 again. Gandhiji says that we cannot be truly moral if we do not believe and experience the belief that God within us, the God is within us, the God of all, is the ever-present witness to all our acts. What is the only belief that Gandhiji talked about? And I think all of you also should keep it in your mind. This one thing. There is God watching us from top. He is seeing what is right and what is wrong. He is the ultimate decider. He gives us the fruit. So always close your eyes and think, what will my God say if I do this? And then do it. This is what ultimately Gandhiji wanted to tell us. Question number 9. All good actions need not be moral acts. When does a good action become a moral act? You can go through the paragraph 3 again. Give an example. Feeding poor people is an example of a good action. Okay? Now, all good actions need not be moral acts. It is a moral act when the person, out of pity for the poor, feeds them. Now, it is a good action, right? Feeding poor people. It becomes a moral act when the boy sees that he feels bad about that person and feeds them. Okay? Good action became a moral act. In the example of feeding the poor, whose action is moral action? When a man, out of the pity for poor, feeds them, it is a moral act. When he does the same act with the motive of earning prestige, getting popular, the action is no longer moral. The intention was good, the result was not good. So this is not moral. The result of our action determines whether our action is moral or non-moral. Say whether the statement is true or false. Just discuss. I hope you know. Yes, it is false. The result of our action determines whether our action is moral or non-moral. Sometimes our action can be moral, but the intention is not. Okay? With this, we have finished the part 1 of our chapter, and I will be releasing the video of part 2 soon. So, revise this part 1 thoroughly, go through the question answers and the glossary thoroughly, and I shall see you soon.